Welcome back, Madmen, and I am the Mad King. I'm working on a first-person survival horror game made in RPG Maker, and today I've made a big step, something that I was really excited to try out, and I'm actually amazed that it's worked. If you've seen the title of the video, the thumbnail, you'll know already what this is, but basically I've been able to implement a first-person shooting mechanic. It's something that I've seen a few people try using RPG Maker before, but I'm using my own method to this thing, and I'll take you through exactly how it's working. But yeah, without further ado, this is something I'm really excited to show off today, so I won't have too much of an intro and just jump straight into it. Thank you very much. If you enjoy this, please like and subscribe, and if you're excited about this project, if this interests you, please do check out my Patreon. So, here we are in the game. First thing I'm going to say is that any lag issues are likely to be because of the screen recording software, but here we go. So first things first, you collect the gun by talking to this NPC. This isn't how it will work in the actual game, these are just placeholders for now. There's a lot of placeholder art at the moment. But you can see the mechanics are working, essentially. Then you equip the gun through the inventory. And then this guy here will say you can't reload with the weapon drawn. I'll probably change these mechanics from being NPCs to being items that you find in the overworld or activate through the menu. And there we go, reload. And now you reload the gun, and now we see we've got 6 bullets. You can see it fires when you push the action button. Some little bits of jank there, but these are things to be ironed out. And then I'm going to show you how this can be used to shoot the enemies in a second. But you can't reload with the weapon drawer. So I think what I'll do is I'll make the ammo be a key item that you use from the menu as well. The reason for that is because it was you were accidentally firing when you were reloading. Now, here's some enemies I've lined up to shoot. You see, bang, shoot one, and as the bullets hit them, they disappear. And that's 1, 2, 3. This area is a bit dark, so it can be a little bit tricky to see the bullets travelling through the air, but they are there. Okay, so here's how it works. The gun is an item which the NPC just gives to you, and I'll show you how that looks in the database in a second. And the other NPC just basically checks if this switch is on using a conditional branch. If it is on, you can't reload because you have your weapon drawn. If it isn't drawn, it sets the ammo variable to 6. And I'll show you how I work with that in a second. So, into this, there's a common event called activate gun and gun. So here's what we do. The first one is activate gun. This is called when you use the item gun. First thing, see the item here? Gun. In the inventory. Common event, activate gun. Consumable no, scope always, occasion always, scope none. And that allows us to use it from the menu. Now, if that switch is on, which means you've got the gun drawn, it would basically switch off the gun if you use it. It erases all of these pictures, which basically erases the menu, so that the menu vanishes, so you don't have like the gun overlapping the menu. Wait 10 frames, and then menu access is switched back off again. Well, the menu is off, which gives you access to the menu again. The second part of this, the else side, will switch on the gun, and essentially it draws the images for the gun and for the ammo counter. It shows a different picture based on what the ammo variable is set to. So this will be updated based on how much ammo is in the gun, which can be up to 6 or it can be as low as 0. Obviously if it's 0, the gun won't fire, which I'll show you in a second how that works. And yes, so we have show picture, and these are 7 different pictures essentially. Each one is a different number for how much. Okay, so we've got a switch here which is pause gun, which I'm going to show you what that's for in a second as well. And these all get switched off when the gun is fired, when it's put away. We're set off to off as natural, which basically, We also have this plugin here. This is the only other plugin that I'm using other than the 3D plugin. It's for spawning events, Galv's event spawner. Basically, this line here let you spawn event, and the other one to clear the events. There's also a little script call that you can use, which basically allows you to get the event ID of the most recently spawned variable. And I'll show you how I use that in a minute. So, this is the event that I'll be spawning, which control switch shot fired on, and then it turns based on to match what the player is facing, and then it switches off the shot fired. That switch being on, basically, it's going to activate some AI for the enemies, and then it has a move route which just lets it move straight forward in a straight line. And the wait 60 frames is to stop it so you can't keep continuously fire.
when it hit this switch here, this will be activated by hitting an enemy, and then it's shot fired off, and that basically it gives you access to fire a second shot, and it erases that bullet, which was, so it's to stop it like having the bullet hit multiple enemies in a line, so it will hit the first enemy and then erase itself. So if shot fired is off, pause gun is off, the OK button is pressed down, and ammo is well, if it is equal to 0, it plays a click sound, which is to indicate that you don't have any ammo. Else, the else on there is for the ammo, which is if you do have at least one bullet. Now what we do is we take the ammo down by 1, we erase picture, we draw a second frame, which is basically, this is the frame of the gun firing. And then we use these variables here to basically to store the map location, map X and map Y of the player. This is the location of the player, and this on the map, which lets us find out where we're going to spawn the bullet. And we basically want to spawn it in front of the player, so that's why we have this +1, -1, essentially this little mess here. This is to basically add 1 to the coordinate of the player so that the bullet spawns in front of them. This little bit of script here is the event spawner, and this basically takes those two variables. So it's the event, the number is 74, that's the number of the event on basically the bullet, and then the location is taken from the variables that we assign to the player's location, and then +1 to get the spot in front of the player, based on which direction they're facing. And then we draw the gun again back to its normal frame after firing, and then we redraw the ammo counter as well based on what the ammo will now be, because the ammo would have gone down by 1. So essentially what we've done here, we've spawned the bullet and we've shown a bit of animation to show the gun firing, and also like we've spawned that bullet into the spot in front of the player, and we're going to have it travelling in a straight line. Now, where we're going to go from here is to show how this bullet then interacts with an enemy, and how we get it to erase the enemy from the map, and also how we do that. So inside the enemy itself, the event, first we have this first page is basically their basic AI movement, just moving backwards and forwards. The second one is basically, this will make them run away when you use the repeller item. Move away from player. That's as simple as that. There's a repeller item that makes them run away. And now this one. So when the shot is fired, it plays this parallel process, which essentially waits to check if this script. So this is a bit of a script that I had to write myself. And what it does is, it basically compares the last spawn event ID, which will be the bullet. The last spawned event will be the bullet, and its X location and Y location to check if they match the event, the Y and X of this event. And this event will refer to this specific event. So I have to basically put this little bit of script inside the event itself, and that will allow me to basically check if the bullet is colliding with that specific enemy. So that's the reason why I have the switch, which is shot fired, so that this script isn't running constantly. It only runs when the bullet is fired, and then it has a wait of 1 frame, I believe, or 5 frames, which basically stops it from running continuously, which causes a massive issue with the frame rate. But as it stands, this actually runs pretty smoothly. If there is any lag, it comes again from the screen recording software. But like when I've tested this without the screen recording, it's running perfectly smoothly. So yeah, I'm pretty confident that this is a good route. Also, the map I'm testing this on has got a lot of events on it. I'm going to have to probably, again, this is a learning process, so I'm going to probably scale down the size of these maps a little bit. Because I have made a few of them a bit too big, and I think it would be better to have smaller maps with, more events, and it will basically improve the frame rate. So that is that. Switch on, wait 1 frame, hit off. So this is essentially, if that bullet has collided with the player, so if their X and Y matches the bullet, it then activates cell switch A, deletes the enemy. Simple as that. And it also deletes the event itself. Now, moving on, the last thing I'm going to show you today is just we're going to have one more look at that, just to show exactly how that was all working, and how it all comes together. And the last thing I want to say, guys, thank you very much for sticking with me. This project it's a passion project, so it might take me a year, it might take me a month to make big progress. As it stands, I feel like I'm improving and progressing pretty quickly. I've got a target date to release some kind of demo in September. So whatever I have in September, I will release something, and I'll put it up, and there will be a playable something for everybody will be available. Even if it's just being able to walk around these first couple of maps, just to to see how it all comes together. But the full game itself, maybe a little bit longer than that. Not to sound too begging on here, but if anyone does join me on Patreon, that is the best way to make sure that I will be able to actually finish this project, because financially, obviously, I'm a dad, I've got 3 kids, I need to basically be, doing something that's improving, my lifestyle. But yeah, so you can see the gun working, and the gun won't be a main mechanic here, to be honest. The gun is basically going to be a last resort. So it's going to add to that survival horror element, where you basically have a bunch of different items to manage. You'll have the bullets, the ammo, you'll have your healing items, and you'll have your repellers. And then also keys and locks and that kind of stuff that all comes together to basically to make how this system will work. I know I'm getting a bit rambling here, but I just want to keep talking over this last little bit of yapping on here. So that gun there is actually probably the sprite that I'll keep, but the bullet counter in the bottom left I won't. I'll definitely change that number. It looks way too janky. But I quite like the animation. I like the little boom flare that comes out when you fire the gun. There's a sound effect which you don't hear right now. But yeah, that should be that. Thank you very much. And I'll be back soon with more updates. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.